Hi everyone and welcome to my Game Week 5 Team Selection. Pivotal game week, 1 week before our wildcard. Also, injuries. I've got 2 injuries. You more than likely own these players, so stick around. I'm going to be talking about the best players in for those 2 injured players. Captaincy will be discussed. For once, it's not straightforward. You can't just captain Haaland. Or can you? He plays the best defense in the league, Man City playing Arsenal. And last but most importantly, I've got a graphic for you and you're going to want to screenshot this graphic. It will help you in all your little 50-50s. It will have the best defenders to play, the best attackers to play, who to possibly captain. So want to stick around for that. Now let's have a look how I'm lining up for game week 5. Starting with Dean Henderson. Unfortunately, I still have him in goal. Up until I wildcard next week, and then I can press that button and get rid of him. He's playing at home, which you'd think at Selhurst Park there's a good probability of keeping a clean sheet, but so far this season they've been shaky at the back, to be honest, so I'm not expecting any points. Next up is Trent, and as you can see, the captaincy's on him. We're going to talk more about that a bit later on. Gorgeous fixture, Bournemouth at home, coming off an excellent performance against AC Milan in Champions League midweek. They'll be buoyed with confidence and want to redeem themselves after that horrendous loss to Nottingham Forest last week at Anfield. Beside him is Konza versus Wolves at home. Again, good possibility of a clean sheet here. Am I going to get one? I'm not quite sure. I saw Wolves against Newcastle last week. I watched them play live and they were very good. They were unfortunate to lose that game. And last in my defense, again, another home game. You'd think all 4 of my defensive players are all playing at home. Should hopefully up the probability of a clean sheet. I'm not too confident. Newcastle at home, yeah, not the best game. Newcastle recently not been putting in the performances, but have been getting the results, so it doesn't bode well for Robinson clean sheet. In midfield, Jota starts for me again. No returns in the last 2 games, and if I'm honest with you, his performances have not been that good. Even in Champions League, he's been pretty quiet. Not normally like him. He's normally ruthless in front of goal, and you'd expect him to have 3 to 4 chances a game. Currently, that's not happening, and in fact, if Núñez was playing well, I would expect Núñez to start the game against Bournemouth, but I think Jota, coming off early in the Champions League, makes me think he will start against Bournemouth, but I will say this, it's getting close to the stage where Slot might look to give him a week's rest. 2 of my midfielders playing each other, Eza and Bruno Fernandes. Eza is at home, United playing away. In this game, I'm predicting something like a 2-2, so I'm hoping both of them can get attacking returns. It looks like to me, with the clips I've seen online, that Eza was meant to take the penalty and Mateta just took it off him. Glasner done a bit of PR work there saying no, it's between those 2, but I got a feeling that didn't look like a discussion to me. It looked like Mateta just too big for him to give me that ball. I'm taking the penalty. It'd be very interesting to see what happens when Crystal Palace get the next penalty. With Bruno, he returned last week. Surely he can do something again. He's been a painful one for me. 1 return in 4 game weeks. Can he make it 2 returns? Last up is Gordon. Very frustrating last week against Wolves. He nearly scored a hit crossbar, but after that, not many more chances. He did play up front after ISAK come off, and is that something that could happen this week depending on ISAK's fitness, which we're going to talk about very soon. Now up top, you can see I've got 2 yellow flagged players. It's not looking good for me. And when we have a look at the quotes on the recent updates, so let's start with ISAK. The Main Online published on Thursday that ISAK has suffered a toe injury and is now a doubt to face Fulham in the Premier League. And they confirmed it's not the old injury that he came off against Wolves, it's a fresh toe injury. That doesn't sound good at all. I don't think we're going to get the information before the deadline either. So he's one of the big doubts for me. Quite a lot of money, taking up a premium attacking spot. I've already lost value on him, so definitely something I'm going to have to do about ISAK. Update from the Brighton manager wasn't too positive either. The update was on the 19th, just so we can timestamp it. He made a training session today, and we shouldn't want to take any risk for today. Let's see how he is in the next days. This one sounds a bit more positive. If he's already trained and he's still got another 2 days, I think he's going to be in contention. So hopefully that's one less issue for me. Pedro can start because he's actually got a good fixture as well against Nottingham Forest at home. ISAK's fixture would have been nice. Fulham away. Fulham are conceding some chances, but unfortunately it sounded like he's going to be a player I've got to address. The last attacker we're going to talk about is the goal scoring phenomenon who actually blanked in Champions League. Now what does this tell you? Is he a flat track bully? Is he only smashing the lower teams in the Premier League and every time he faces a top defense, he doesn't score? Or is it he's just a human? Well, we think he's human, and playing against Inter Milan is a tough game. Let me know what you think in the comments. This week, he has Arsenal, a better defense than even Inter Milan. So the big conundrum we've got here, which we're going to talk about later on, is the captaincy. As you can see, he's currently my vice captain and the captaincy's on Trent. Now, why is that? The graphic I was talking about earlier on is this. You're going to want to take a screenshot. Why? If you've got any 50-50 dilemmas later on, just before the deadline, and you're not sure, maybe have a look at this and it could help you make your decision. In this graphic, you've got all the Game Week 5 fixtures. The top teams are at home, the bottom teams away. You've got the predicted goals and you've also got the clean sheet percentage. So what you can see here, obviously, if there's a game that's predicted to have a lot of goals, for example, Liverpool versus Bournemouth, Liverpool are predicted to score 2.7, near 3 goals, hence why I've highlighted it. I've tried to highlight any game where I think there's going to be near 2 or plus goals, and I've also tried to highlight any clean sheets odds. So if they're lower than 10%, I've made them red. If they're higher than 30%, which means there's a decent probability of you keeping a clean sheet, I've highlighted them. Now, what you can do is look at through your matchups and your squad and see. So, for example, if you've got a player playing, you've got a Brentford defender and you've got, say, a Bournemouth defender, you can look at Bournemouth are predicted 7% clean sheet odds. You're not going to want to play the Bournemouth one. It seems obvious, but there will be closer matchups at times. Say it could be Robinson and Konsa. So if we looked at Robinson for Fulham, what are his odds? He's 19% keeping a clean sheet. And we said Konsa for Aston Villa, he's got 34%. So obviously you play Konsa. But there are times where you're not too sure. You can resort back to this and it will help you. All the data from this is taken from Rob T FPL. He's an incredible account that puts this weekly information out there. I will be summarizing it for you and putting it in one neat graphic for you, as I said, to take a screenshot. So definitely utilize that. I utilize this all the time. If I'm ever stuck on a little decision here, I utilize this. Definitely a useful graphic, and let me know in the comments what you think about it. Quick look at the bench. Matthews doesn't play. Smith Rowe could be vital. He was vital last week. Pedro didn't play. He came on. Again, this week, I might need him because I've got 2 subs. I'm only going to make 1 transfer. I don't want to take a hit and then the week after I wildcard. It just doesn't sit well with me. So Smith Rowe will be needed. Hall second on my bench, playing Fulham away. Part of me was considering him playing him, but I'm not even sure, first of all, if he's actually going to start. And I don't want him to start him and then he comes on for the last 15 minutes. It's too painful. And last up is Harwood. Please, God, do not let me have to go that deep into my bench. That's when I know it's a disastrous game week. All in all, it's a decent team for game week 5. I'm going to need a lot of luck going my way because I've got a lot of players playing each other. You can see the Newcastle playing the Fulham players. I've got Manchester United players playing the Crystal Palace players. Not ideal at all. So let's hope I can get a green arrow. Let's have a look at my proposed transfers for game week 5. If you're enjoying the content, do me a favor, drop a like and subscribe. I'd love it if I could reach 50 likes in this video. So do me a favor, I'd really appreciate that. ISAK with his toe injury. This guy's killing me. Last week, 1 point, came off at halftime in a game where I thought he could get returns. So that was painful. If it looks like, and it is sounding like he's out, I think I will prioritize getting him out. I've got 1.9 million in the bank. I could reach most places, to be honest, and I'm looking at Watkins. Watkins last week destroyed Everton, had 6 shots, really should have had a hat-trick. Good performance. Had a good performance midweek against Young Boys in the Champions League, although he did come off again around the 60th minute and had a big ice pack behind his leg, so that's not ideal, but I think he'll be fine for this week and they're going to want to push on, so I'm expecting good returns from him. If I bring him in, potential captain candidate without a doubt. His fixtures, look at it. Wolves at home, Ipswich away, Manchester United and Fulham, and then Bournemouth at home. Gorgeous fixtures. The other transfer is a bit left field. It would be Bruno, who I don't mind his fixture against Crystal Palace, but the reason is the money I've got invested in him, I could get to Son. Now I know what you're thinking, a Spurs player, they just about beat Coventry in the English Cup, I know. But when you look at the graphic I showed you earlier, Spurs are predicted to score near 3 goals against Brentford. And Brentford have been horrendous defensively. They're giving up big chances and loads of shots on target. And he would also solve my captaincy crisis because whatever you say, Son is an established Premier League player. He's an elite player. I know this season it hasn't started well, and when he plays on the left, it's not ideal. And it looks like he will play there again because Solanke will start. But the fixture, Brentford at home, really does attract me. Remember, I'm wildcarding in game week 6, so I don't need to look too far down the list of fixtures. The next game, someone I can punt on and take a big gamble, especially as this game week, I don't have many captain options in my team. And the last transfer I actually did consider would be Gordon to Diaz. This depends on 2 things. First of all, that ISAK is sounding okay. His toenails are fine and he looks like he's going to start against Fulham. And also that Diaz is going to start. There is some doubt. Even though he didn't play midweek in the Champions League, he came on as a sub. Gakpo started and he was incredible. Slot actually spoke about Gakpo nearly starting the week before in the Prem. So is he due a start in the Prem? If I get the information that Diaz starts and ISAK is okay, definitely an option I could go with, especially as that graphic I showed you earlier. Liverpool predicted to score 3 goals or potentially more. I would want as much chance of gaining those points in this attack. They're the 3 proposed transfers. What do you think? Anyone else I'm missing out with my current squad situation and injury issues? Let me know in the comments. Now let's talk about captaincy. If you are enjoying the content, do me a favor, drop a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. This is one of the first game weeks this season where we've had to think about captaincy. Most of us have just captained Haaland, who seems to be scoring goals for fun. Unless he's playing in Champions League, of course, where he's blanking. And this week, he's got a harder team than Inter Milan. He's playing Arsenal. Arsenal are the best team defensively. Full stop. Arteta's got them moving mad. Like, honestly, it's so hard to score against them. You can't even reach their defense. And if you do reach their defense, Gabriel Saliba are just excellent pairing. If you do pass them, they've actually added an incredible goalkeeper as well with Raya. So yeah, they're just a solid defensive unit. Even if Man City do score one, yes, more than likely Haaland will, but can you see him scoring 2 or 3 like he normally does? No. So it's the lower probability of him being the captain this game week. Having said all of that, as you can see, he's in my top 3 for captaincy this week. That's how good he is. He still could get 1 goal. My second favourite choice, and it would be my transfer in if I take out ISAK because of his toe, is Watkins. Now, Watkins' fixture is excellent. Villa are playing really well, and he finally looks like himself again, because at the start of the season, playing only 60 minutes, didn't look himself. He missed a couple of sitters like the one against Arsenal, but last week against Everton, I know Everton are a weak team, yes, but that might be enough to give him his confidence, to give him his flow to continue. He's played good in Champions League, and I'm hoping he gets at least 75 minutes this game week, which should be enough for a return. He's my second favourite captaincy for this game week. But the top choice is a player I don't have, but of course I have to put him on the list, because if you've got him, I think it's an easy decision. Mohamed Salah. Against AC Milan, he was incredible. Yes, he didn't score, but if you watched the game, you would have seen he hit the crossbar twice, underneath the crossbar actually. I'm not quite sure how it didn't bounce in, but yeah, it was one of those days, but he was excellent. With him, you're going to get the minutes against the weakest team, Bournemouth. They are so bad, and at Anfield, like I said earlier, Liverpool are going to want to return to winning ways after that shock performance against Nottingham Forest. With Mohamed Salah, you get the minutes. Yes, they have 6 attackers and there is rotation, and Slot has already shown us he likes to change players. I think he's secure because the midweek fixture is an English Cup game. That's where Liverpool players will get the rest. That's where Salah won't play, and Chiesa and Gakpo and Nunes can get good minutes. But I think he features, and I think he plays 90 minutes. Unless Liverpool's winning 4-0 by the 70th minute, then of course Slot might look to give him a little rest. This is the best captain. Yes, he blanked the last game week, but Liverpool very poor against Forest. Are Liverpool going to be that poor again? I very much doubt it. If you own him, put a captaincy on him. In fact, get in the comments to let me know who you're captaining for this game week. I'm always intrigued to see what other managers are doing. I hope you enjoyed the video, but more importantly, I hope you found the video useful. I wish you good luck this week. Last week was horrendous for the majority of us, so let's hope we can bounce back with a green arrow. Remember to take a screenshot of that graphic. If you're stuck on any 50-50s just before the deadline, utilize it. Trust me, it will make a difference to your game week. Before you jump off to the next video, do me a favor. Like, subscribe, share the video, put the notifications on, do whatever it takes to hopefully get me to my next milestone, which would be 1,000 subscribers. I'd really appreciate that. If you haven't made your transfers yet and you want more information regarding transfers, I've made another video with 3 incredible transfers detailing all the statistics you need to know.